What's the name of the podcast, Ethan?
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, it's not comedy.
It's not going to be a podcast. It's going to be a fucking train wreck.
I wouldn't say that.
Do you know what Cream Fiend is? They sell nangs, nitrous oxide canisters for making
Cakes.
cakes.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they'll deliver them to you any time of day, night. So yeah, Cream Fiend.
Well, thanks for coming on, dude.
Yeah, good to be here.
Yeah,
How good's Newcastle, huh?
fucking, it's a nice area. It's a very nice area.
Not bad, it's not bad. I used to work security up in Newcastle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Where did you work security?
everywhere, King Street, Canberra, Customs,
Yeah.
Argyle. We had like 100 security guards, maybe 40, 50 different venues, so
Yeah.
all over. They sent me to this one place called the Criterion in Weston,
Yep.
and it was the worst gig ever. It was like I was one up by myself.
Yep.
And like, I kid you not, everybody in this pub had like bipolar or something.
Yeah.
'Cause
Okay.
I would go out, meet people, hey, how you doing? Talk about their family. He's showing pictures of his family. Then I'd go outside, come back in. They'd be like, fuck you, what are you doing? And I'd be like, dude,
That's got to be some sort of drug there, eh? Like, what were they
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe, it's crazy. And it'd transition back and forth.
Yeah.
So then we'd be friends again, and then boom, and like, when they were swearing at me, like, they were looking at me with intent to fucking, you know.
on?
Yeah.
You get that look from people, you're like, oh shit, here we go.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
No way. It's you can see why some bouncers can be like super fucking like intense. Like there's other like most bouncers are okay.
Yeah.
But like I've seen some bouncers where they're just like, is this dude gonna try and start a fight with me later on?
Yeah.
Like that's what they're looking at. Like
Sure.
I went to an MMA show on the Central Coast.
What was it called?
It was I can't remember now. It was the guys who I can't even remember the gym that sponsored it now.
Okay.
Good plug for them.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah. It's like it's the best MMA gym on the Central Coast.
Okay.
Yeah, the guy
Might
who's
be the one down in Gosford.
Maybe.
Ross Pearson's place. Maybe.
no, not that. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll come to me later, like tomorrow or whatever. Actually, one of their guys just fought on the last MMA UFC card.
Oh yes, Jamie Malaki.
Yeah.
Good mate of mine.
Yeah.
Actually,
His gym.
I like to think he's a good
Yeah.
mate of mine, but we've met like 4 times.
Yeah,
and I'm just
yeah.
gonna claim it. He's
Yeah.
my mate. You know what?
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Fuck it. Why not?
He's in the UFC. He's definitely my mate now. We
Yeah,
go way back.
yeah.
We used to hang out all the time. Before I didn't know nothing.
Yeah.
Before I was like, Jamie, who?
Yeah.
He's in the UFC, suddenly.
Yeah. So like every fight had like one of the guys on it, and
Yep.
none of them lost. Like they all
Yeah.
like
Central Coast. I've trained with the boys.
Yeah.
Before there.
yeah.
Ross Pearson, he's he's veteran of the sport.
Yeah.
Great dude, and they've got a great culture down there too. And yeah, I think great gym. Nothing bad to say about them at all.
Yeah.
But it's funny what you said earlier about how some bouncers you just get an intense feeling from them.
Mm.
And I remember the first time I'd only been working for like a couple of weeks, where someone was just screaming at me. I
Yeah.
just had a verbal altercation when someone's in my face. It's on at any moment. This can turn into a violent situation. Like I'm on edge. Like everything in me, my adrenaline's going, and I'm like, shit. That situation ended, and I was like, okay. From now on, every person I interact with, I know that this is a possible. This is a possibility.
Yeah.
So when someone comes up to me, yeah, sure, this person just might be completely normal and they're a lovely person, or they could be that piece of shit who did that.
Yeah.
So from now on, it's like I'm from North India, Punjab, and there's a saying in Punjabi. They say, "Dod da sarya, lassi nu vi fuke pinda." What that means is someone who gets burnt by hot milk. He's drinking hot milk. If he drinks anything, even water, when next time he's gonna just blow it to make sure that
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
hot. Because once bitten, twice shy. They say.
Yeah. So you're from North India, like border Pakistan?
Yeah, my parents are from
Yeah.
Punjab. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
born here. I was born in Sydney way.
Yeah, okay. What did your parents do over there?
So my parents have a crazy story. My
Yeah.
father came here when he was 19 years old.
Yep.
Could barely speak the language. He, had $500. No, none of his education qualifications meant much in Australia, and he was just like, okay, like make something of yourself. No friend circle, no family to help you, no nothing.
Yeah.
And he just went after it like a lot of these immigrants do. You know, he worked as a taxi driver for 10 years, worked every sort of factory job, everything you could imagine, putting in insane 120-hour work weeks. Like he'd drive a taxi for 20 hours straight. He'd stop because he literally ran out of fuel.
Yeah,
He
okay, fuck.
couldn't go any longer. And now he's like a very successful guy. Like even today's, when it comes to like computer literacy and whatnot, and even his English speaking skills are pretty poor. But, you know, at one point he had 7 different businesses.
Yeah, wow.
You know, 30, 40 different people working for him. Like he's very, very, done really well for himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I love hearing those stories. Like, yeah, I'm like 3rd generation immigrant. So is Ethan.
Oh, wow. Where are you
Like,
guys from?
so my grandfather came over from Ireland.
Okay.
Started building houses. Like, bought land, built houses, sold the houses, and then eventually was like, fuck building these houses. I'll just sell them for a living.
Awesome.
Yeah. And yeah, Ethan's like
I got the
German Jew.
Yeah, German Jew. I'm the piece of shit.
They came here running from the war or some shit.
Yeah, I guess they were smart. They were just like, let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
That's it.
Pulled the
It's gonna
pin
turn
early.
bad.
Yeah. I used to work with this Indian guy, Singy, and he used to be in the Indian Air Force.
No way.
He had some fucking wild stories because he was like
This
on
is
the
super racist.
yeah, he was like
All Indians are racist.
yeah, man. He was super racist against Pakistanis. Like,
Oh, bro. You've
'cause-
got to be. You're not Indian
Yeah.
unless you hate Pakistan. you
yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean?
So that's how it works over there, man. Anyway, so we're in this. We're in the. I used to be in the Air Force as well. So he was in the Indian Air Force over there. Came over here, joined the Air Force here. We're in a brief, and there was like we gave a bunch of our old aircraft to like the Pakistanis.
Oh.
and like they fucking flew one into a mountain or something, and like 100 people died or something.
What?
It was fucking horrific. So Singy gets up.
Yes.
Singy gets up in.
Nah.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, guys, don't worry.
Well, Singy gets up in the middle of the fucking thing, like no one else could get away with this. He's like, don't worry about it. Plenty more where that come from. He's just like, what the fuck, Singy?
Wow.
No one knew what to do because like, it's like,
Because everyone else is white.
yeah, we're
No
all
one
white.
else would dare
It's like, oh god damn it.
anything.
It's like,
Actually, it's the whole India-Pakistan conflict. That's one of the most interesting areas of conflict in the world today. Like, I love looking into the Middle East and all these conflicts.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how crazy is war? How crazy is the fact that entire nations, entire groups of people will mobilize to wipe out entire other nations? Like, that's crazy. It blows my mind. And it's like, that situation is unique because both of them, to some degree, are rational actors. You know, both of them have these religious fundamentalists, these zealots, who have immense influence in their governments. And both of them have nuclear weapons.
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah,
So the level of carnage, it's not like, it's not some tiny nation that doesn't have a huge sphere of influence. India is a nation of over 1 billion people.
yep,
You know, and they could literally cause catastrophic damage. Like it's ridiculous.
yeah.
And it's funny when these things happen, when nations misbehave. There's no like parent to step in and be like, yo,
Not with them.
yeah.
It's like they got nukes pointed at each other. I think
It's
like
crazy.
England's like, hey, India, fucking settle down. India's like, fuck you. Talk to the Pakistanis.
It's crazy too. 'Cause
Yeah.
like, it's funny. A lot of people, like, India's supposed to be the world's largest democracy.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt, like, I'd say in terms of just if you look at the human rights record I think a lot of countries have dismal human rights records, but
Well,
generally speaking,
if you look at Australia's even,
Sure,
we've got an atrocious record with what we
sure.
did.
But I'd say if I had to pick between living in India or Pakistan, I would definitely live in India.
Oh, fuck yeah.
However, this is just objective. This is not me speaking of
Yeah.
India. This is saying just because the religious persecution in Pakistan is far greater.
Yeah.
It is an Islamist country in every sense of the word. Like
Yeah.
you see journalists who've allegedly blasphemed, fighting murder charges. And
Yeah.
There's many famous cases like that, and you don't see that as much in India. However, India too doesn't have clean hands. Like I don't know if you guys have been following recently. India there's a disputed area called the Kashmir.
Yep.
Kashmir region. And this is sort of the basis of the conflict between the two countries.
Yeah.
Because what had happened was both nations claim ownership of Kashmir. When the British had left, Kashmir was its own independent province. It was actually at one point ruled by the Sikh Empire, so my people, the Sikhs.
Yeah.
And then the Sikh Empire ceased to be after the British, and Kashmir became its own sort of province area. It was independent. But they were like, who's going to get it? Who's going to get it? And then the Kashmiris chose to go with the Indians. Pakistanis didn't like it. They invaded. So they split the country, and now it's like half-half.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same sort of shit as what happened in Tibet. Like,
Really?
Yeah, same
Okay.
sort of deal where
Yeah,
they were
right.
both fighting for it. But is Pakistan mostly Buddhist religion as well? Or
Islam. It's
Islam,
Islam.
Yeah.
right, and yeah.
It's-
Well, that makes more sense that
Yeah.
India would be a bit more chill.
But in saying that, India is
It's
equally
definitely
crazy.
not. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
There's bands of people roaming around in India who, if you work in a butcher shop or whatnot, they will lynch you. They
Yeah.
will beat you and they will kill you
Yeah.
and record it and put it on the internet for eating a cow.
Is that some sort of like extremist Buddhism?
Well, this
or
is, I think this gets to the crux of the whole anti-religion argument. Is it like, are there elements? Is religion in truth, a really positive thing and somehow misinterpreted and misconstrued to be used for negative purposes, or is there fundamentally something wrong about not relying on reason and logic and thinking about things and just sort of accepting things the way they are and
Yeah.
following beliefs because they were passed on?
It's sort of that human condition of like we
Yeah.
all have it in us, that like ability to take something to the extreme, no matter what it is. Like I get obsessed about shit all the time. Like I've been like when I started smoking weed, like when I was younger, I just went crazy on that shit. I was just like, I'm just gonna do this forever now. This
Yeah,
is my
right.
thing. And like if I could see how like someone
Yeah.
that gets introduced to something else, like whether it be like Scientology or
Yeah.
some other religion, and then they go like, oh, this is what I'm all about now, veganism or whatever the fuck it is, and they just take it and run with it, and they're just like, anyone that gets in my way, like I'm just gonna fucking smash them down because it just conflicts with their worldview. So
Well, I also think it's like it's socio-economic. So if you're like growing up in a let's say it, like if you grow up in a shithole,
Yeah.
like it doesn't matter where you are,
Yeah.
and you've got nothing, and then someone comes to you with a belief system and gives you something like
Absolutely.
like a crew or some people, like
Yeah.
you're like
belonging,
all of a,
sense
yeah,
of
yeah,
community,
yeah. Like
purpose.
all of a sudden, like that's it. That's the only thing you got in your life. Like we've all gotten obsessed with stuff, like Ethan was saying. So
Yeah.
you can only imagine how much like that would be amplified in an area where if that's all you've got to go on,
100%.
like so
Yeah.
that's where I think a lot of like extremist views come about.
Absolutely.
Is people just growing up in shitty situations and lack of education and like
Yeah.
they don't meet people as well, like being in their own bubble. That's a big thing. Like try not to be in your own bubble,
Absolutely.
even if you're reading stuff that you don't necessarily
Yeah.
agree with. At
Yeah.
least try and like read it and understand at least their like their point of view with
For sure.
things. Because yeah, being in the military, like you see a lot of like fucked up things that happens to people, and like a lot of people are like quick to jump on like the anti-Muslim bandwagon or whatever.
Yep.
And you're like, no, actually, like it's really very little to do with the religion itself. It's like it's all about like the areas and like these geopolitical fucking spheres
Yeah.
inside the world. Like
For sure.
they're using religion as a fucking weapon. They're not raising weapons for
sure.
religion.
Yeah, I think it's simple. It's easier to look at life as black and whites. It's easier to say, and you can do this broadly through life. You can say, you know what, I've got this issue. I'm not getting girls because of something. Just blame a whole host
Yeah.
of issues.
Yeah.
You know, people don't like me because I'm Chinese. Well, is it, or are you a
You're an
piece of
asshole.
shit? You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, are you
Is it-
shitting in public?
Are you-
Because
know,
the
it
fucking Chinese do that.
Whoa.
there we go.
Okay.
Sorry.
Where is that going? Is there a story behind this? Have you
Oh,
seen
just
a Chinese person?
yeah.
Saw a video on the internet earlier.
Well, oh man, shitty. That's also another common occurrence. You know the word for going to the toilet
Yeah.
in Punjabi, they say jungle pani, which means forest water. So you go
Yeah,
into the
okay.
forest with a bit of water, you do your thing, you cover it up, in you come.
I thought it was because you're squirting out water in the forest. You fucking eat some of those curries over there, man. You'll shit.
No
They're
doubt.
spicy.
No doubt. Oh, man. Oh, far out.
Yeah, you got to get used to that food. Like, started doing yoga at the Bhakti tree in Mayfield, and they do like these really nice vegetarian meals. But fuck, the first time I had one of them, it just cleaned me out.
Oh, yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
Beautiful. Oh, man.
So you grew up in Melbourne as well?
No, so originally we grew up I was in Minchinbury.
Yep.
So that's like Western Sydney, I think it is.
Yeah, okay.
And then I was up until like, I was in like year 5-ish. In the last couple of years of primary school, I moved to the Beaumont Hills, which was like a nicer place in New South Wales. It was
Yeah.
a bit, quite a shift it was. And
Yeah.
then after that, all throughout high school from 7 to 12, I was on the Central Coast, grew up on the Central Coast. And then, the last year and a half, I decided I was training a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I really enjoyed it. And the guys over at Absolute MMA, Lachlan Giles and the crew, Craig Jones, there were a lot of guys just were doing really well on the international competitive scene. And I thought, if I want to do what they're doing, which is making a living off of Jiu-Jitsu, I should get amongst it and try to figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. How long you been doing jiu-jitsu then?
I started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu when I was about 15-ish. Yeah.
Okay. So what, like, I can't tell how old
4
you are.
years
like
ago? Yeah.
Yeah,
4
okay.
years
ago.
ago.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're a bit younger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then gradually it was like, first time I did it, I was like, okay, this is something. And then gradually I just started doing it once a day, then 2 times a week and 3 times a week, 4, 5, 6.
Yep.
And for people who've done jiu-jitsu, it's something that's so addictive.
Yeah.
It's something that's so
Yeah.
infinite complex. There's so many little, you could, like, it's like, I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 4 years and I feel like I know almost nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I have training, I'm like, what? Like this guy's a prime example of it. Like, this guy, when we train, it's like I've never trained ever. Like, I'm people on the podcast, I'm pointing at my mate Isaac.
Yeah.
He's a beast. He's one of the world's already one of the he's world class, and he's been training for 6 years. He's like a prodigy.
Yeah,
Jiu-jitsu
well,
prodigy.
you look at the guys he's training with too, and
Yeah.
it's like he's
Wow.
just dropped all these names. I'm like, what the fuck? These guys are like training world champions. I'm like, holy fuck, man.
It's the crazy
Like,
thing.
yeah.
Like, this guy lives a crazy life. He came and saw me in Melbourne. Like, this is like 6-7 months ago, and he was like, he was always good, but he's like, we became mates or whatnot. We're hanging out, and the next thing you know, he goes over to New York, is almost immediately in with one of the best, or arguably the best jiu-jitsu team in the world.
Yeah.
And he can like direct message Gordon, Gary, all the top, John Danaher. He's got like the world class, it's any jiu-jitsu person's
Yeah.
wet dream to
Yeah.
bloody, have access to that level of people. So
I just gotta.
I fucking hate him for it.
Mitch was like sitting at home. He's like, "Oh, podcast today." I'm like, "No, you're gonna want to do this one, man.
yeah.
It's gonna be good."
Oh, man.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Mitch wasn't at comedy this week, but he's got a pretty awesome jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
bit that he likes.
Oh, yeah. Our jiu-jitsu bills kill. There's a shout out to Melbourne comic John Dorr. He has one of the, if you're ever in Melbourne, check him out, one of his shows. He does an amazing, I won't spoil a bit.
Yeah,
He does
yeah.
a phenomenal bit about, because the best thing, part of doing jiu-jitsu and MMA is shitting on anything that's not jiu-jitsu or MMA, but it's martial arts. Like, we
Yeah.
spend 30%, we train, we warm up and everything, and then we just dedicate 10 minutes to talking shit about karate and kung fu and everything
Yeah.
else. Because if you haven't got the message in 2019 that doing karate is if not a waste of time, you're not learning how to defend yourself. And there's far
Yeah.
better alternatives out there. It'd be the equivalent of everybody is using the internet and you're going to a fucking cave in the Philippines to fucking get information. Like, are you serious, dog? You just stood there punching in the air for 30. We got boxing, we got kickboxing.
Yeah.
Like, what do you
Yeah.
like?
Yeah.
Come on, especially with Rogan and the UFC. Like,
Yeah.
surely we've crossed that hill, but
Well, I think there's a place for everything. Like,
Yeah.
karate has its upsides. You see a lot of like karate guys come into MMA,
Yeah.
and they can be pretty successful because
Yeah.
that movement, like, it throws a lot of people off,
Right.
and they throw like weird kicks and stuff.
Yeah.
that people aren't necessarily like able to see coming. Like,
Wonder Boy.
I'll tell you
Wonder
what
Boy
it is.
Thompson's a great example of like
Yeah.
a really good karate guy.
Sure.
But
But I'll tell you what it is. I'll give you, let's say there's 4 martial arts, for example. There's Aikido,
Yeah.
Hapkido, Judo, Jiu-Jitsu.
yeah,
Now, the basic Jujigatami or armbar, we call it, is found in all 4 of those martial arts.
Yeah.
Hapkido, Aikido, Jiu-Jitsu, Judo. Somebody who trains in Jiu-Jitsu or Judo frequently, like consistently, 3 times a week for 6 months, will likely beat the F out of anybody who does Aikido or Hapkido. Now, why
Yeah.
is that? Even if they do it for 10 years. Now, why is that?
it's they're just more.
And what it is
yeah.
it's training methodologies. So, for example, I can be like, hey, Isaac, you want to learn stand-up comedy? We're going to sit in a room, practice stand-up comedy, right? Or I could say, hey, Isaac, clone, B, get on stage. You're
Yeah.
actually doing comedy.
Yeah,
So, on the one hand, I can say, this is an armbar. And you practice it and you let me do it on you. Or I say, you know what?
Let's roll.
Put me in an armbar. Let's let's roll.
Yeah.
I'm going to resist 100%. And that is completely different.
yeah.
It's like you could be the best boxer in the world in a boxing ring, but if Michael Phelps fought Mike Tyson in a pool of water, who would win? It's a different environment. Michael Phelps
Yeah.
has a giant advantage. So when you're in a real environment, which is what a street fight or a real altercation or even a resistive opponent offers, that environment, that if you've never been in that situation before, you're just gonna freeze up. You don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I have female friends of mine. I remember there was a girl in high school. She was telling me a story about how she was in a public place, shopping center. She goes, "Yeah, a dude just grabbed me and he pulled me and moved her away. Luckily, nothing. It didn't escalate into anything." I was thinking, I was like, if someone just grabs my arm without even thinking, I can strip a grip and create some distance
Yeah.
and do my thing. Whereas even if I'd showed her exactly what to do, unless she's practiced that under tense conditions with a resistive opponent,
Yeah.
you don't know what you're doing. And
Well,
it's a shame.
even just being in uncomfortable positions,
Yeah.
like the ability to have someone like put you in a headlock, not
Yes.
necessarily choking you, but where it's like uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's like being able to stay calm in that situation, just because you've been there plenty of times.
100%.
It's like it's so much different. Like
Yeah.
I've gotten into, so I went and did jiu-jitsu a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
I used to do it like a fair bit back
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
day,
wow.
but like I went back and it was one of those things where I was like, oh, I'm used to being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like I hadn't lost that bit.
Yep.
And then like, because I was used to being uncomfortable, I probably pushed it a little bit too much.
Oh, okay.
And then like I got my fucking throat squashed. And I was like, couldn't swallow properly. I was like, oh, motherfucker. Like I should have just tapped.
How many times has a jiu-jitsu person thought I should have just tapped?
Yeah.
Pretty
Oh,
much.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
vast majority of injuries, a good percentage of the injuries can be attributed to just ego. You know what?
Yeah.
If this guy he's a lower belt, I'm not gonna let him tap. If this is like, I've had girls. I think girls injure so many people in MMA sparring because there is a component of guys want to go a bit easier on girls and girls want to feel like, no, I want a real training session.
Yeah.
But also, I'm guilty of this. I've been put into a submission. I'll admit this, and I'm wrong, and I'm a terrible person for it. But I've been put into a submission hold by a girl, and if it was a guy, I probably would have tapped. Thinking back on it, but I was like, you know what? I'm a man. I ain't gonna let this happen. You know what I mean? I can't do it.
Yeah.
And which is silly.
Yeah.
Is silly because there's some jiu-jitsu is one of those things where.
It doesn't matter how big you are.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah.
To some
you
degree
can-
it does,
I
but,
have
like-
been cleanly tapped. There's a great the one thing I wasn't
Yeah,
told. There's a great female fighter who trains out of our gym in Melbourne, Pip. She has legit armbarred me before, and I've been doing jiu-jitsu like consistently. Since I started from 15. I've been doing it last year and a bit. I've been doing it like every day, often like multiple times a day. And she legit caught me in an armbar. If I didn't tap, my arm would have been in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's some legit women out there who
Yeah.
mess up your day. for
Legit
sure.
people as well. Like,
Legit
and
people.
sometimes like another story about this session. I was just rolling with a blue belt, and he's going easy on me, and it was like I was fighting an armbar, and I had it like probably like 90%. I still had like wrist control.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm all right. And he's like, just extended. I'm like, no, I'm still all right. And he's just like sort of looked at me like he's not going to tap. All right. And he just like tweaks it a little bit, and I just heard a I was like, He's like, oh, you're right. I'm like, I should have fucking tapped. In what fucking universe am I getting out of that? Like, he's got me at 90%. No. I'm going to reverse this.
Hope. Optimism.
It's like, nah, just fucking tap.
Oh, gosh.
Honestly, I should have tapped the second he got mount.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's good fun. Like, going back when I first started doing it, I was doing it with a guy who we used to just do it in a fucking squash court with mats.
Yeah.
And you'd always be getting staff and shit because they weren't cleaning the mats properly. We didn't know, man. Ooh. We used to have this warm up. And thank fuck I wasn't as fat as I was back then, because it was like like pyramid exercises.
Yeah.
Used to do that with like power jumps.
Oh wow.
It's like it doesn't matter, but so the power jumps you had to do 10 power jumps every time, and then you had to start at like 10 push-ups and then work your way down each set to 1.
Okay.
Man, I was doing it for a good 18 months before I left there. Okay. And it did not get easier. Yeah. Like every fucking time, like you finish that workout and your legs were like jelly.
The funniest thing to me, when I'm not big into SNC or anything, but it's something you got to do, and it's the funniest thing. I could probably have 10 minutes of material on my inner dialogue when I'm doing stand up. Yeah. Like I'll be picking up, or maybe I'm hitting a tire with a sledgehammer. I'm like, Bobby, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? Is the definition of stupidity. Yeah. What? It was like, but you piece of shit. What is it? What is wrong with you? You don't have to do this. You're forcing yourself to do this.
Yeah, I get that struggle. Like that's why I'll never ever go to the gym to like pump weights or anything, because that inner dialogue in the back of my head's going like, "You're a fuckwit. Like, why are you trying to get pussy? Like, why? Are you
That's it.
Why are you doing that?
That's why anyone does anything, right? If you're the crux of it.
I used to pride myself on just like having fucking the ability just to not gas out of my legs. Yeah, that used to be my thing. Like. It's like there used to be no amount of lactic acid in my legs that used to like make me proper give up.
Yeah, to the point and that then you ran like, until you got shin splints.
Wow. Yeah. Like I fucking blew my shins out.
No
like
way.
That's
crazy.
But I used to be able to do like hardcore leg workouts and be okay the next day, like pretty okay. Damn. Like we were probably on some shit back then too, though.
Yeah, right.
Like that was. Do you just remember black powder? No. It was pre-workout.
Oh shit!
It was like you guys are a bit younger.
Yeah. So we were buying this shit on the internet. It got banned, and it was like, and we were getting like, we were getting fucking like. There was this other dude, and he was like not very well built either. And we were like doing it we did it for 6 months, and like we all put on like weight, like a serious muscle. And we're looking at this dude. He used to be like a crazy alcoholic too. He used to get fucking wasted every night, like, and he was fucking buff by the end of it. I'm like, there was some shit in that black powder. Yeah. That's I put on like, and this is no bullshit, I put on like 4 kilos of muscle
you know what? After the
like
fucking
12
podcast,
months.
tell me what that shit was.
Yeah,
I could do with a bit
yeah.
Man.
Yeah, you get fucking bad acne on your back though, so you gotta watch
worth
it.
Yeah. Worth it, you know what I mean?
What was that other one? It was like that blue powder.
Oh yeah, 1MR. Yeah, 1MR as well. One more rep. It was like I used to go to kickboxing on this shit. Yeah, and it was like I was on speed, man. I was like, I'd do a full fucking like pads workout, and then I used to do an hour on the bag, on the heavy bag as well.
I never got into that shit, but you brought some down one time, and I was like, I'm going to the skate park.
Dude, you used to take it and your skin used to start fucking crawling. You had to do push-ups.
This is ridiculous.
I was like, yeah. We took it the first time. I'm like, holy fuck, dude, I need to do some push-ups. Like, your skin's crawling. Wow. It was giving dudes strokes.
Oh my god, that's next level.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was fucking fun. The shit, like, the stuff, like, looking back on it as well is, like, so dumb. I was fucking, taking these, tablets, fucking making me angry and stuff. Like,
really?
Yeah, testosterone boosters. Wow. I was just like going out to clubs. I was just like, I want to fight people.
You're that guy that the bouncer's got to look at and go.
I wasn't. I was fucking a very nice guy. Like,
what was his name?
Yeah. Oh
man. Timing, ladies and gentlemen. That right there is the essence of comedy and jiu-jitsu combined. Timing.
Yes.
Nothing like
fuck.
it.
All
That's
right.
beautiful.
Writing that one down. That's the name of the podcast.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, that is right there.
What was his name?
What was his name?
I fucking love it.
It's so true though. Like we say this in jiu-jitsu all the time. You could have an amazing submission, but if you don't pull it off during that exact time when his arm is here, it means nothing.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah.
You could have a zinger of a joke or whatever, but if you say it at the wrong time, it's not the
You say
quite
it the
effect.
wrong way,
You know what
like
I mean?
you just
yeah.
your timing's off, wrong
Exactly.
tone.
Or you had the wrong joke before it, and people don't like you all of a sudden.
For sure.
Yeah.
You can have
For sure.
killer material, people
Yeah.
don't fucking like you.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yep.
Well,
Like-
my best bit at the moment, I've been doing this bit for at least, I'd say, the last few months consistently, almost every other night.
Yeah.
And then it's like only recently I've been getting a good reaction from the crowd. So I'm like, hang on, this is ridiculous. Like I've been doing the same joke. What's changed all of a sudden? So I went back and listened to an earlier clip of it, and I realized, oh no, I wasn't saying that joke like that at all.
Yeah.
The pauses were different. The time was different.
Yeah.
Specific words were different. I'd cut out all this extra jargon. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's
And that's
like-
why you record your sets.
That's why you record your
Yeah.
sets. I think you definitely need to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
have it-
Ethan gave me feedback on one joke, and he's like, just like pause it. Like, it's about my wife buying a strap-on dildo, and I was like, just pause it, just pause it here, say a dildo, give it a pause, and then be like a strap-on dildo, and it's like, it just like,
Because everyone's
like-
going this way.
yeah,
They're like,
yeah,
oh yeah, and then you're like strap on dildo. There.
yeah. Oh fuck, we're in
Change
some
the track.
shit now.
Oh gosh,
Yeah,
Mitch. For some reason, I'd love to hear your set, man.
yeah. I'm sorry I couldn't make it this week. I was fucking.
You guys
spitting.
doing the clown?
Yeah, we'll be there
Yeah.
next Tuesday.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's like fast becoming the best show in Newcastle. That-
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
It used to be notorious for
Yeah,
being
yeah.
bad, and it still has its bad nights. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I've
But,
had some fun
um,
at the clown. And,
Yeah, most places do though. Like it definitely depends on the night, like who's emceeing, what the crowd's like. There's so many different variables that go into it.
no doubt.
Like
yeah.
like the one we did at Mayfield the other day, Stag and Hunter. Like I've seen a bad night there.
Oh man,
Yeah.
fuck! I bombed.
Where
I
everyone's
bombed
eating
that.
shit.
I bombed that last fortnight.
Yeah.
So did. I hope he doesn't mind me saying this. But so did Mark. Like Mark came off stage. It was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
He was like, he wasn't feeling good about it either. It was just
Yeah.
for whatever reason, like we just had. It just wasn't working for us. There was not a big crowd, and
Yeah.
it also depends on like you need a table. Like
Yeah, yeah.
we've-
If you can
we've-
get that one.
you
that
get
you're,
one good table,
connection with.
Absolutely.
and it just like brings the atmosphere. It just builds the atmosphere of the whole area. It's like
For sure.
contagious.
Yeah,
It's
you didn't
interesting.
see the Kent last week. That was.
I can only imagine how like
Holy
that shit. Yeah,
The
that was
Kent,
rough, man.
actually,
yeah.
I have not had a good. I've had one good set at the KED, and it wasn't a good set because I'd been doing it like fucking 3 weeks. But it was like a good set where I was doing it like 3 weeks, and I got a couple of laughs.
Okay.
So that was like me killing back then, and you're like, since then. I just every time I get up there, I don't know what it is, man. I just fucking bomb my dick off.
Yeah.
It's hard. Like I'll come
It's a
from
rough room.
yeah, I'll come
good.
from like sets where I'm like, holy fuck, that went really, really well, and then just the Kent, just
Yeah,
like,
it's humbling
oh man,
because you're like, I think I'm onto some good shit here. And
Yeah.
then you take it there, and it's like, oh no, you're not.
Yeah.
like
man.
one joke out of fucking 5 words. Like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck.
Last month I went up there, I did 2.5 minutes. I
Yeah.
forgot my whole fucking set.
Oh,
It was
no.
like I was just performing to the comedians at the back of the room. I tried one joke, and I was hoping that I could come up with a punchline on the spot. I couldn't.
Don't do that.
And
Taking
yeah,
chances here.
yeah, took a
Living life
chance,
on the-
did not work, and then I was just like, yeah, nah, this is not going well. See ya. Just ran out of there.
I got up there and I was doing all right, and I'm like, let me end with one of my go-tos, you know, like one of my sharp weapons, like that you really can choke, you just got sharp, you know everything about it, like
Yeah.
it's your go-to, it never fails you. And I get up there and I go pop pop pop, I hit him with that punch, And everyone just stares back at me. I'm like, whoa.
Whoa.
Wait, whoa. What?
Hey guys, I thought we were
This
friends.
is not how this works, you know what I mean? When
Yeah.
I say this, you laugh. This is how it works. What? You guys are switching it up on me. This ain't fair. This ain't cool.
It's like you're making out with a girl, and all of a sudden she's like, "What are you doing in my bedroom?" It's like, "Been here for 20 minutes, lady.
What?
Oh,
I've had 3 fingers inside you this past 10 minutes."
Cheers, here we go. This is why we don't riff on the spot. You come up with ideas first.
Oh, Lord.
But,
Here I was, I'm like, I'm going to share this podcast with my friends and family. Maybe not.
yeah.
Maybe not. No.
Yeah, no, credit to Adam because he did actually get people, like the last couple of times that Kent's been on, it's been pretty dead. Like last time we had 3 people in the audience and that
Yeah.
one, like it was chockers in there.
Yeah.
So it's
The
been
photo
working.
looked great. I was like, "Oh wow, tonight's probably going to be
we
a great
all thought
show."
it was going to go well.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
there's heaps of people in there.
Yeah.
It's going to be like opening night.
Yeah.
Opening night at the Kent, like everyone killed. Everyone went well.
Yeah.
And then, oh man, that was horrific.
That was like the biggest like contrast between shows is open night Ken, everyone did really well.
Yep.
And then
Open
like
night
the
at
next
Maitland.
week, the next
Oh, okay.
week, everyone got up there, everyone's like fucking super cocky, super confident, and everyone bombed.
Really?
We
Wow.
all ate shit. One dude didn't do comedy for 6 months after that.
That's always hilarious. The way,
That dude went
People-
back to crack.
man, lots of the. That's one of the things. That's one thing I always tried. I was like, this one time I'd wanna comp somewhere in Sydney, and because I'm living up on the Central Coast, it's like I'm driving 2 hours to and from various comps and whatnot. And I remember finishing the comp and feeling real good about myself, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go home, sleep, have a good time. You're always tired. You're hungry all day. You're waiting for the time. It's a crazy, all these nerves and whatnot. Comp day is always a blur. And then at the end, I was like, hang on though, Bobby, because it was a Sunday, and Sunday the comp finished around 6, and usually around 8, I'd go to this open mat. And I realized, like, hang on, Bobby, if you had lost today, you bet yourself you'd be at that training session.
Yeah.
So you've won today. You've decided, you know what?
I don't need to
Everything's
go.
kosher.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go home and sleep. You're like, I was like, yeah. Maybe what about that guy who lost today, went to that training session, and then next comp he's gonna be, you know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
gonna have his knee on your throat, and you'll be like,
Yeah.
oh well,
Same
maybe I
as
should have
stand-up,
gone to
man.
that open. Exactly.
You gotta
Yeah.
keep going.
That's it.
No
So
matter how hard you bomb. you
that's
just gotta
it.
pick
You
yourself
gotta
up.
keep boom.
Yeah.
Because not getting up will not make things better. Not continuing to go at it will not improve.
Oh,
anything.
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So yeah, throw yourself in that fire.
Man,
Burn
like-
hot.
I went a good 3 straight shows just in a row, just eating fucking epic bowls of shit,
yeah.
just bombing my ass off, and it was like I was just doing it, kept going, and then just got up and fucking like did well. And it was just like walked to the back of the room. Everyone's like, "Yep, good set, man." And walked out the back to the road. My wife's like, "Thank fuck for that." She goes, "I could not watch you bomb again." Jesus Christ.
It's so much better though. Like it's like going out and doing exercise and then eating a meal. Like
you've
everything
earned it.
tastes better. Like if you've been on
Yeah.
a bombing run and then you get that one, like went good at the Stag and Hunter last week.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, that's so fucking juicy. That's
Yeah.
so much
Yeah,
better.
man.
Than if you do a couple and they're like mediocre. You're like, I'm doing all right, and then you have the bomb because you're
Yeah.
like, I'm doing all right.
Mm.
You sort of get that false confidence, and then
The best is when you write a new joke and you're excited about it and you deliver it and it kills.
And it kills. And it's
Like-
you, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
worked.
Yeah.
That's a great feeling.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they just get less funny. I've noticed that with like jokes that you hold on
Yeah.
to for a long time. It's just I think it's just you're just not as excited about them anymore, and you just deliver them different.
That, or I
and then-
think I get like bored of it, so I try
Yeah.
and switch it up a bit. And
Yeah.
I'm like, it's working, and now I'm changing it, and now
Yeah.
it's not working.
Yeah.
because I've become bored.
And I think your
if it ain't
standards
broke-
change.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
You,
Oh yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix
Don't
it.
fix
Like
it.
if something's working,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like you
Yeah.
can sort of try and work it out a bit better if it needs to be, but like
Yeah, yeah.
there's a certain point where it's just like, no, that joke's as good as it's getting.
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't know unless you change it to a different joke, maybe,
doubt,
and
no
then
doubt.
and then carry it on. But yeah,
And for sure, I think your standards change too. Like when we're starting, you're not getting that many laughs like that, and then you do consistent laughs and then loud laughs, and you're just you're looking for that next step. It's higher and
Yeah.
higher. It's like
Yeah.
you start jiu-jitsu. It's like I just want to tap someone. I want to
Yeah.
tap someone 5 times. Now I want to tap them with one hand. Like it's never enough.
Yeah.
You're always hungry.
Yeah.
You know? You're never quite content. And I think that lack of contentment is what drives you to keep pushing, keep looking for that next high. But at the same time, I think it's important to stop, smell the roses, and be like, oof, I was here 6 months ago. I'm here.
Yeah, man.
Let me be happy. Because,
Yeah.
I mean,
Sure. I had to do that the other day because
Yeah?
I was on a bit of a bombing run
Okay.
on the comedy, and I went back and looked at my recorded sets from like
Wow.
6 months ago. I'm like,
Yeah.
holy shit, I can't even watch them. They're
Yeah,
that
can't,
bad.
that's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
it's like makes you cringe watching it, and you're like, all right, I'm not doing that bad. Like,
That's it.
it could be worse. I could be
Could be
back
a lot
there.
worse.
Yeah, I should keep at it.
For
It's
sure.
it's also it's a crazy skill. I went for a job interview this week, and just the ability to get up in front of people and talk concisely, and like just not like ramble on, doing exactly what I'm doing right now. But like I went to this job interview, and you had to do like a minute speech on like why you wanted the job, what your interests were, and what your past experience was. And I just got up there and I just did a minute speech, and I just like nailed the 3 things, and I sat down,
Wow.
and that was it. And everyone else is like kept trying to like shoehorn things in and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
add extra stuff, and I was just like, bang, done. And I was like, fuck, man, if it wasn't for stand-up comedy, that would have been
Yeah.
a train wreck.
Yeah.
I was like, and I was the psycho, like on the way there, talking to myself as well. I don't know if you do that before sets.
For sure.
Yeah, man.
For
like
sure.
you just got to run it through and
Yeah, yeah.
like rehearse it on your own and be like, that doesn't work
Yeah.
or whatever. Like make your mistakes on the car on the way there. That way, even if you get up and you bomb,
Yeah, yeah.
it, like I said, like at least it's practice saying words on a stage.
Yeah.
Like in the fact that even
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
even if you
Yeah.
bomb, if you delivered your jokes like exactly how you meant to deliver them, then it's not that bad of a bomb.
Yeah.
Like it's when you get
That's
up there
true,
and
that's
you
true.
forget a joke or
Yeah.
you fucking like fumble on a word or something.
Yeah,
It's
it's been
like-
underprepared. It's like I
Yeah,
had all
man.
day to practice this, and
Yeah.
now I'm here again. I constantly
it.
do it. I
That's
like
it.
because I'll second guess myself. I'm like, oh, that's not a good bit, or like I need
Yeah.
to change it, and then I'll be writing all day, and then I'm like, oh fuck, I haven't prepared what I'm gonna say at all.
Yeah.
Fuck, here we go
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you need to differentiate like writing sessions with
Yeah.
like practice sessions.
Sure.
That's another thing I've found because you can get up there like I've written like jokes on the way to the set and they've worked, and other times I've like changed up jokes on the way to the set, and I get up there and I'm like, oh fuck, your mind just goes blank because
Yeah.
you're like
Yeah,
you're
it goes
still
back to what you
experimenting.
used to do.
Sure.
Yeah.
Maybe because I've heard different veteran comics say different things, and I've heard a lot of people say that it might not be the best. It sounds daunting at first, but it might not be the best idea to memorize sets word for word.
Yeah.
A lot of guys don't even like the idea set. Instead,
Yeah.
you have maybe a bunch of concepts or ideas that you hit, but then you get to a point where you've done as many reps that you memorize the words anyway. Because I feel like a lot of my best writing, because I feel like I'm a terrible writer. Like I feel like I just get away on just the way I look and my antics, like
Yeah.
flailing around and acting crazy. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the best things just came out of my mouth. Just came out of my mouth in the moment.
Yeah.
I was G'd up. I
Yeah,
was
you're
on
speaking
something.
from the heart. Like,
speaking
people
from the
love that.
heart and just
Yeah.
being honest and real, and you splurt out something, and you know you
And
get up
sometimes
there.
it goes bad. Like sometimes it's like garbage that comes out, and you're like, "Well, I'm sorry you just had to hear that." But
sure.
better-
I'm not really
better
a
out than in.
racist.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like I've received the feedback that I need.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks I'm a piece of shit now. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say that again.
Yeah. You feel bad for listening to that. Try being me. I got to go home with me tonight. I've been mulling on that for weeks.
But that's so true what
man.
you say, man. Like you've really got to have just that little bit of like flexibility. Like you can't be so
Yeah.
rigid and like
Yeah.
this is what I'm gonna say exactly like this.
Yeah.
Because
For sure.
people pick that out straight
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
So I was talking to Isaac before about like how much is prepared and like how much is sort of like made up on the fly, and you got to have that like mix. Of
Sure.
Like, you can sort of riff stuff out and be
Definitely.
flexible with people, like crowd work, like
Yeah, that's
people that can do that. I'm like, and like you
That's
watch
such a
it
skill.
and you're like, there's a couple of things that like they say before
Yeah.
they do it.
They've
Like,
got
Yeah.
talking points.
yeah,
It
they've
is
got
some.
points to bring up with people, and then they just.
I
fucking
found so
riff
far that
something
comics
funny.
like to pretend like, oh no, they'll just talk. I don't want to tell you nothing.
Yeah,
I just
it's like that
I just-
magic type of thing that people don't want to give it away.
Oh,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
No doubt.
But
no
with
doubt.
with like the internet now, and we were talking about like Joe Rogan's podcast and
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of other podcasts, you do get to hear about like that writing process a bit more. Like Bill Burr's a good example of like he was running through like new jokes that he's working out after his last special,
Okay.
and it's like he's talking about bombing and stuff, and you're like, fucking Bill Burr. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
if you're a fan of his.
Yeah,
I'm like, that dude, it'd be impossible for him to bomb. He's
It's
like,
crazy.
yeah, no, I got this new abortion bit, and it did not go down well. I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah,
I cannot wait for the next special to hear that joke, though. I can't
For
wait.
sure. And the scary thing is when guys say, like Mark Norman, like big name, they say,
Yeah.
we bombed for years.
Yes.
So can you imagine?
Yeah.
Because I'm only 4 years into jiu-jitsu, and you're starting to, lately. I'm like, man, I'm feeling really shit. But I'm like, imagine this shit feeling, lasting for years.
Yeah.
For years. How do you get on stage? And I see comics like that back in Melbourne. I see comics who get on stage night after night. These guys are relentless. Like they're like bull terriers. You know, they just they're after it. But I'm not seeing improve, and I'm sure there is. It's happening. Maybe at a slower pace. But they don't seem to be doing well, but they have heart. And I think that heart, that desire, that will to continue,
Yeah.
that's a whole metric on its own that
man.
I'm sure.
We've got a comedian here in Newcastle. I'm not going to drop his name because we got in trouble for that shit last podcast. But he has the one fucking good thing about him. He's got the thickest skin of like anyone in Newcastle.
Right.
He's fucking out there again, night after night, no matter what.
That or he's oblivious.
Wow.
Either way,
Honestly.
you got to admire the fucking.
This is coming from a person. I'll fucking.
Yeah.
You'll watch me next Tuesday, man. I'll bomb my dick off. Like, yeah, I'm gonna look like such a dickhead after talking to you like about killing and stuff. I'll bomb my fucking dick off and be with a fucking smile on my face, loving every minute of it.
You gotta love that. You gotta love that hard time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
crave that shitness.
Dude, you yeah. It's good now too. Like, I don't know, I don't get nervous getting up anymore, which
Really?
is fucking awesome. I never really get like.
So you were good with that.
I was
from the
like,
start.
yeah,
Wow.
like I never got like the pit in my stomach nervousness
Yeah.
or something, and
I used to throw up.
yeah,
Me too. I've
Yeah.
thrown up multiple
Yeah.
times. But
Yeah,
there's a
dude.
bit more
Yeah.
to that.
I just
Well-
don't fight it anymore. I just like if I get that feeling, I'm like
Yeah.
that little feeling can come and sit down next to me
Yeah.
and chill out. I'm like if I needed to go throw up, I'll go throw up. But
I'm bad.
I've been pretty good lately.
I'll say that. I won't say it, but I'll be like, I'll hope that I don't know when I'm gonna go up. 'Cause when I know and I start
Oh,
counting
yeah.
down,
Yeah,
and I'm
okay.
geeing up, and I feel to me it's
Yeah.
similar to that anxiety of pre-competition. Like
Yep.
I want to start moving around.
I kind
get
of
a
like
bit-
that though, man, because like a few of the sets that I've had recently haven't gone well because I haven't had that
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
And if you can turn like that nervous energy into like performance energy
For sure.
for the crowd, they fucking love it.
Without a
But
doubt.
if you can't like convert it, you got to do some alchemy before you go on stage.
Yeah.
But, yeah, if you're just like a nervous wreck, it's no good either. You're throwing up and that sort of stuff. But if you can
Find that
harness
balance.
that, like because when I was bombing a few sets in a row, I was just dead inside. And like the one at the Crown and Anchor, the previous fortnight, like I got off stage and I'm like, yeah, I bombed, but I don't even feel bad. Like I just didn't even feel anything.
Wow,
I'm like,
yeah.
what the fuck
I
is
didn't
going
Yeah.
on?
bomb, no.
Like I don't even
Oh,
care
no.
that I bombed. I just ate shit, and I'm
Yeah.
like, and yep, it happened. Whatever. I don't
Yeah.
care. I don't want to go get
No.
better. I just didn't care.
Yeah.
at all.
that's bad.
Oh,
That
it's
is
like-
bad. Like,
truly
yeah.
dead.
It's
Jay.
like I saw this meme once. It was like a vending machine with a sign that says "works, but the light inside is broken." And I was like, oh, Lord, I pray I'm never in that position. You know what I mean? Going about
Oh, dude,
pretending
that
to be here, but inside the light left a long time ago.
That was me in the last like 12 months of my Air Force career, right there.
Yeah?
It was like works, but the
Oh,
light is
God.
gone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
the lights are on, but nobody's home.
Oh man, I was training at Absolute one time, and I'm sitting there with Lachlan Giles. He's like our coach. Who recently, just he's one of the first Australians to ever medal at ADCC, which is the Olympics of Jiu-Jitsu, and did so in spectacular fashion. He was in his own weight division, and he lost his first match.
Yep.
And then he went into the open weight division. He's like 77 kilograms, and submitted giants and tapped
Yeah.
them all, and within a number of minutes. And he just
Wow.
he put himself, and he's a super accomplished guy. He's a PhD physiotherapist, runs a great gym. And he's a stellar human being, like as a person. And it was like he was sitting on the mats, and he was a guy I used to like watch his footage and stuff before I met him and stuff. So, I have a very high opinion of him. And we're talking to him, and there's a couple other students around, and they're like, "So Bobby, you've been in Melbourne a little while now. Like, how's training going?" They're asking me how things are doing, and I sort of looked over at my coach, and I was like, I'm just lost. And they go, what do you mean? How are you lost? And I'm like, is there something we don't? I'm like, I'm just lost in life, and I could feel myself tearing up, and I'm like, I just blink a few times. I'm like, I'll see you guys tomorrow, guys. I'm gonna head off. We'll take this conversation up another time.
You handled that like a man. Just fucking pile that down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pile that somewhere in the back.
I have no emotions. I'm a robot.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Man.
Don't do that for too long, man. Otherwise, you'll be on the side of a bulldozer and start fucking chucking tools, screaming and fucking head off.
Oh man, it's hilarious.
So how long have you been doing comedy, man?
I started doing stand up in March during the comedy festival,
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
and
Wow.
yeah, it's funny because like I was saying to you boys before that we started the podcast. When I'd listen, obviously I knew stand up was a thing, but I'd never in a million years imagined getting on a stage and doing stand up comedy. That's alien to me. That's like saying, "Oh, Bobby, you want to go to space, like be astronaut?" So what? That's got nothing to do with what I'm about, you know.
Yeah.
And then, but I was always the sort of guy simultaneously who I would always be the guy addressing a crowd of people telling a story. So much so that before training sessions, my coach would give me allocated 5 minutes just talk. Like in my classrooms at high school, they'd be like, "Okay, Bobby, this is your 5 minutes, whatever." We'd have a deal. Like, I want to talk to you in class if you give me my 5 minutes to stage time. You know what I mean? Like we had these things worked out. So it was weird, like, because I'd never thought that, but I was doing stand up the whole time, you know?
Yeah.
Because then it'd be funny, like, I'd start telling a story at recess. And then I'd go to different groups, people tell their story, and like someone from a different group would be like, "Bobby, you're telling the same story." Like, no, it got better. Like listen to the updated version. Mode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is the way.
Now there's a spaceship.
Yeah, but then it was like, I had this moment where I was at Absolute Collingwood, and I was there with Amit, one of the strength coaches, Ollie, another one of my mates, and Justin. He fought in the UFC. He's a black belt. He'd been down as a guest coach, and I was just telling them some crazy story about this dude from the gym who's threatening to kill me, and he was turned out anyway. Let's not get too much into this story. There might be some legal matters going on there, but I was telling them a story about this crazy dude, and they were howling, laughing, like they doubled over, and I was like, I do this fairly often. Why don't I just put an afternoon or two and a couple hours of my life away, invest that time, in the next 10 years, I've got a really cool skill set.
Yeah.
If nothing else. And I came in with very modest and humble expectations, and then I just sort of fell in love with the process. I was like, this is such a cool group of people to be around. It's fun doing something so hard. It's challenging. It's rewarding. And yeah, before you know it, I was lucky and unlucky in the sense that I got a knee injury, so I couldn't train for a little while, and just started doing stand up every night, and
That's cool, man. It's good to have something else to be able to get you through. When, if that's like your one thing, you're like, I love doing this.
That's
and then
it.
an injury takes you out.
The day of my injury, I made a new note on my iPhone. I'm like, okay, you're gonna have a lot of free time. You're not gonna sit at home and just Netflix. You're gonna read. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do that. Because there's always things. I feel like we're constantly sacrificing things to do other things.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to work. Okay, that's time that we're taking away from something else. And time is essentially all we have. It's our most precious resource.
Yeah.
So how are we spending that time? Okay, the next hour I'm on my phone. Really? How could I? It was just a simple choice. Doing something else with that time could change the quality of my life immensely. You know? Like, it's like I laugh to people. I'm like, how much time do we waste a day? Several hours. We could just put 15, 20, 30 minutes into Mandarin. In 6 months, we can speak to 1 billion people. Like, even how you spend tiny periods of your time can have a
most people aren't even aware of it though. Like, and that's what fucks with
Scary,
me.
yeah.
I'm kind of aware of it. I'm like,
that's the thing.
I'm
Being smart is terrible.
Oh,
You don't want to be smart. I tell you, ignorance is blessed for a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most people would get about 100 points happier if they lost about 20 points of IQ. I'll tell you right now. You know what I mean?
Maybe I should start up martial arts again. Take a
You
few
should
whacks
start
to the
martial
head.
arts. That's it. Calm down a little bit. That's what
Yeah, dude.
I always tell this to Isaac, you know.
Well, yeah. I think, I don't know. It just depends on like how you view the world. Like if you go to a job where you've got like a group of people and like they've all got like real bad attitudes.
Yeah.
It's like
Rubs
it's
off
that
on you.
outlook
Right.
on it, like the tinge of it, like morale. Like if you've just got a shitty fucking outlook, you're not going to enjoy stuff. But if you've got an outlook like what you're saying is like use your time wisely, like it makes such a big difference.
For sure.
And like there's times
sorry,
I think there's times to fucking definitely like slack off. You can do it too. You can do too much of anything. Like you
sure.
can work too hard.
Yeah.
Like I've been there where like all I had was like my work. I was doing like 14, 15 hour days, and I was just like fucking killing myself, like making good money, like good coin. And it's like 6 months later, I'm like, oh, this was not fucking worth it. It's like, yeah, cool, I paid some bills.
Yeah.
But like I've got no fucking life. I'm
That's
like,
true.
And then I took up comedy.
Yeah.
And like work started like interfering with comedy, and that was the only thing that was like really exciting me at the time.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, this definitely isn't fucking worth it if I'm like missing out on the one thing that brings me joy like lately. So I was like, yeah, cool, like time for a change sort of thing.
Wow, so you quit your job.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So are you doing stand-up full-time now?
No, you can't do stand-up full-time in Newcastle, mate. What are you talking about? No, I'm going to work for like a...
Redacted.
yeah. Going to work for a company. Basically,
got a good
I help people with like mental health issues get back to
Nice.
work.
Wow, that's really
So,
interesting.
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, kind of like ironic considering the amount of mental health issues I've had over the past few months.
I can't
Yeah.
go back to work, but I'll tell other people that they should.
Yeah. Those who can't do
There's a bit
teach.
there for sure.
Wow. Man. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm so curious. So this is a large problem, is it? There's a lot of people who are unable to return to work because of mental health.
Yeah, dude, it's a fucking huge thing. People don't talk
awesome.
about like having depression and stuff like that because it's such like I see it as like it's a lifestyle problem. Depression for a lot of people is just a lifestyle problem. You're not living life correctly.
Wow.
It's like I'm not living life correctly, and like eventually something's gonna break. And it's like if your body's not gonna break, your mind probably will. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like
Your
I'm doing.
mind will generally go before your body, in my experience.
Yeah.
I've fucked around with a lot of like hallucinogenics, so like did way too much acid. And, like, that will definitely break before your body breaks down from that.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta watch that shit, but you gotta have that holistic view of like, because there's generally like a bunch of different things that are fucking with you. It's like, what can
For sure. And I think
figure out first?
that's no doubt. I think a great majority of depression, anxiety, and whatnot can be relieved by, like you said, living a healthy life, getting, better sleep, diet, exercise, engaging in meaningful pursuits, doing things for others, looking into mindfulness, philosophy, spirituality, all that kind of stuff. But I think there are people who just are so unlucky that they have some sort of a hormonal imbalance. And I've heard conflicting views on this, but I think there is an idea in psychology that there are some people who just, for whatever reason, just got a short end of the straw and just from childhood have had these terrible thoughts to deal with.
Yeah,
and were unable to deal with that. And it's like I've known a lot. I've had a close friend of mine who passed away due to suicide. And
so have we.
yeah. Right. It's funny. Like there was something I never really thought about. And then when I say this to people, it's like I get that same response. Like it's such a common thing.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it's the leading cause of preventable death amongst
young people.
young people. So that's crazy, man. Because as someone who's never really had that had that thought, I can never wrap my head around that. But
it's fucking scary, man.
It's
As someone who's
terrifying.
had that thought, it's fucking
Really?
scary, man.
Wow.
Like it's like you can be on the edge, and I don't want to like bring the podcast down too much, but I guess this is how not to comedy. So, but like having that thought and being like planning it out, and you're like, yep, cool, yep, that's a good tree, like those thoughts, like, yep, just let go of the steering wheel now. And then you're like something kept me from doing it, like my wife and my friends, like that's what saved my life. Yeah, and I was like, yep, cool, this is not working. So, like like Ethan was saying, there's a whole holistic approach to it. Yeah. And it's just like, it's just based off how you live your life, really. No doubt. Like I was, and still am in a lot of ways, but getting better, like living life incorrectly. Yeah. So first things first, it's like, what do I want to do? And it's like, I want to do comedy and I want to have a good work-life balance. Okay, so then go find a job that gives you that. Nice. Cool. And then like everything after that will then come second, like doing like mindfulness stuff, like a big thing, like just fucking go fishing. Go fishing not with the aim to catch fish, but just to go fishing and enjoy like the outdoors. So like even if it's just like an hour or so, just with yourself, like play some music or whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
and just fucking enjoy yourself.
No
Like,
doubt. It's like I think you touched on it slightly earlier. It's like it's such a valuable tool. The whole "Are you okay?" campaign sounds silly.
yeah,
What this is such a grave issue that people will literally die from this. We can fix it by talking, but it truly is that simple because there's so many people. I think the way Western society in general is set up, oftentimes a lot of people aren't able to talk to that many people.
Yeah.
Like you'll have your family, but you don't have a good friend circle. Maybe you live by yourself, or you're in some sort of a situation where you feel isolated. You might be amongst people. You might meet 1,000 different people, but you're not close with any one of them. So you can't share and talk through all these things that you say them to somebody else, and it sounds silly and simple and very easy to deal with. But in your head, this thing can grow from like a molehill to a mountain.
yeah,
And something that is trivial. If I might say it to Isaac, this so-and-so said this, and Isaac, what are you talking about? It's just nothing. And then you talk through it, and it's nothing. Whereas in your mind, you're like, was this? And you extrapolate, and it becomes something big, and before you know it, you're thinking about it for
Yeah.
days. And yeah.
Perfect example was our friend went to the movies and there was these two guys like on their phone, like with the light cleaning their shoes. And like that is a ridiculous thing to do as a movie starts. Like, and then they started getting upset at these guys, like for like having the light on. Like, fuck,
God.
dude. Like, oi, just fucking turn your light off. And then these guys are like, all right, let's fuck with them now. Like, they're being fuckwits back. And then like they come back and our friend's like, yeah, we nearly going to do a fucking fight and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh man, that is like, as someone who's like trained enough to know like how bad you can get hurt.
Yeah.
It's like, that's such a dangerous situation. And my response was, I would have just gotten up and moved.
Yeah.
And then
It's-
all of a sudden, that's not an issue anymore.
It's funny, like I'm what you're saying is so sensible and so right, and I 100% agree with you. But I'm constantly being that idiot. I'm constantly, or I'm around the friend circle with people,
Yeah.
and I'm like, we're out and about, and I'm hanging out with like all my boys back in Melbourne. Maybe it's like Isaac, Sam, Sean Liguriak. We're like all black belts, fighters, jiu-jitsu aces.
Yeah.
We're walking out, and someone dude's like, what? And I'm like, this. Nothing good can come of this.
Oh,
Even if
yeah.
I strangle this guy quite, just lay him out like a doormat. The only bad thing they have, but part of me, I don't know if it's some sort of primitive thing or if it's just the fact that you're so confident in yourself. But maybe there's some insecurity factor to it as well. But for some reason, people are just sometimes, even seemingly intelligent people, are unable to rationalize and be like, hang on, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
What am I? And I'm sure there's cultural aspects and the whole, like anything, a whole number of variables and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What you pointed out, like how you feel in yourself, like that, like if you're like real paranoid all the time and like you're not sure and you're not confident, like that's a big reason why guys will like look for fights. Like I think that was the biggest reason why I used to get into so many fights in high school.
Really?
Like I used to get in fucking heaps, man.
Yeah,
And it was
yeah,
like
yeah.
it was like I was always like so insecure in myself.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden, like, I was like, oh, yeah, like, I'm pretty good at this. I'll go to, like,
Yeah.
kickboxing.
Yep.
And it's like, and jiu-jitsu. And, like, all of a sudden, I just got fucked up. Like,
Yeah.
just getting, like, hurt all the time, like,
Yeah.
choked out. Like,
Yeah.
everything that could
Yeah.
ever happen. Like, you go to kickboxing, I'd spar
Yeah.
with a dude. And we'd have, like, a fucking full brawl. I walk out of it. I've got a headache for 2 days. And it's like, everyone's like, oh, that was a fucking good fight. I'm like, I don't ever want to do that again. It's like, yeah. Like,
For sure.
and also, like, there's also that, like, yeah, you could like fucking hurt 99% of people on the street. Like, you're like saying a lot of people who don't understand like what a blue belt can do to the average person. Like, it's just like you might as well be a toddler. If
Yeah.
you're rolling with a blue belt and you don't know what you're doing, you might as well be a toddler.
That's true.
You'd be safer if you're a toddler.
Yeah.
Like, because a toddler can't fucking hurt themselves. Like, all you need to do is defend yourself and people will fucking break themselves on you.
And it's funny, like, obviously, a fight is such a multi-variable thing. Like, you could slip, fall, multiple people. You could just get caught with a lucky punch. But, like, this has been my experience from doing all this nightclub work since I've been 18, is that oftentimes people have rarely been in that situation. And more than likely, even if there is a significant size disparity or whatnot, or they're bigger and stronger than you, you're just it's over in seconds.
Yeah.
Like you've got to. My first move is like usually a flying rear naked choke out of nowhere. You know, like
Yeah.
I'm standing behind, like I'm not standing in front of him.
And you know how it's going to go. Like, you've planned it out.
Well, it's
Yeah.
almost it's like a
They've got no
conversation.
idea.
It's like
Yeah.
I think that's the best analogy for it. We both speak English, so I can say to you, "Hey, how's your day been?" And there's only a finite number of answers you can give me.
Yeah.
Now, that's let's say me and Isaac speak English. I say, "Hey, how's your day going?" You can give me a finite number of answers. You don't even speak English. What are your answers?
Yeah.
You got nothing to say, buddy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Like,
right.
It's like that person that goes like, I can do comedy. And then they
Yeah.
get up on stage and they got nothing planned. And it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, fuck.
That's
Yeah.
all my mates.
And at the end of that, someone strangles you.
yeah.
yeah,
That
yeah.
is picking a fight with someone
Yeah.
and you've got no idea.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. Like, I think comedy, I mean, there's so many parallels between the two. But comedy, I think for sure, sometimes you can come off and you did all right, but you think you did a lot better, or sometimes you did terrible. You think you did a lot worse than you actually did and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it's hard to deny how it went when you're knocked out on the floor, or
Yeah.
you wake up and there's drool all over you. Like, oh, what just went down? Like,
Yeah.
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 sure.
That's the one, like, that is the one thing about fighting. It's like, it's usually very definite. Usually, like, sometimes we get a little, like, maybe you
Yeah,
both throw a punch
yeah.
and knock each other out. It's
Yeah,
like,
once a blue moon.
Yeah.
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 Unless you're
Generally
at
it's
that
not.
elite level where it's
Oh.
like, can come down to a T.
Yeah. When,
Yeah.
like, both guys know
Generally,
what they're
like,
doing.
A street
Yeah.
fight, like, fuck. Yeah, it's not
Dude.
going to end well.
I was watching, I try not to watch them because I don't believe in it. But, like, I was watching these kids, like, 15, 16, like,
Oh, yeah?
kickboxing,
Wow.
like, with, like, legit technique,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
in the street
Yeah.
on fucking cement.
Oh my
Jeez.
god.
And I'm like, oh, dude.
Wow.
Dude.
So were they
like,
sparring? What was
they
it?
weren't sparring. It was like a fight. It was like a set-up fight. It was
Whoa,
like
no way.
crazy knockouts.
With
fucking,
an audience and everything.
yeah, there's kids walking around.
What?
They're all filming. I'm like,
Wait, is this
fuck,
in
man.
Thailand or something?
It was in America, and one over in New Zealand. These two fucking big Maori dudes
Oh my god.
fighting, and I'm like, dude, you're fighting on cement. Like
That's what
if
people
you
do.
are gonna
Yeah.
fight, just go to a fucking gym. They'll
Yeah,
let you. They'll
they'll let
like
you.
someone's. Two guys walk into your gym. We want to fight.
Yeah.
You let them. Fuck yeah,
We give you
man.
plenty of fight, my friend.
Yeah. You want to
Not
fight?
fight for a lifetime.
You can fight each other, and then we got 12 other dudes you can fight as well.
Yeah, we got women.
Yeah.
50-kilo dudes who'll mess you up. We got, you know what I mean?
Oh, dude.
All your fantasies will be over in
Yeah.
one day. Like, it'll be.
Yeah, man. I used to. I trained with a kickboxer. She was Saren Murray.
Okay.
She was a world champion,
Wow.
like, featherweight.
Okay.
It's like that chick could fucking mess up like 99% of blokes on the street.
Wow.
Like, she was a monster, man. My trainer was telling me about a fighting went and saw of hers in Brisbane, and she was like throwing like front teeps,
Wow.
like a fucking power kick.
Man.
I was like, and when I got there, they're like, yeah, no, don't use like the ball of your foot, like use your heel.
Yeah,
I
wow.
was like, fucking step into it. And I was like,
Damn.
oh, whoa. I was like, this is some next level shit. It was like, yeah, no, she knocked out a world champion with
Oh
that
my
kick.
gosh.
It's like, fuck.
Yeah.
So, yeah, don't fight on cement, and don't fight if you don't know how to fight. I think that's,
Don't
yeah.
fight, period. I think if you know how to fight, don't know how to fight.
Yeah.
Avoid that shit.
Yeah.
Even though I am a giant hypocrite in that sense.
Yeah, well,
Well,
And
it
if
comes
you look
with
at
the
me
job.
and say, Bobby, I don't like your t-shirt, guess what, motherfucker? We are fighting. What are we doing here? Square up right now, bitch. What's up? You ain't got no blue belt jiu-jitsu. I do. Fuck you, you're dead. You got no chance. What's up? Oh, man. This is beautiful.
what about FAP of the week? Let's do a FAP of the week. Have you heard
what's
about this?
No, I have not.
All right, so
Great.
yeah, so
segment.
yeah, you've been traveling all week, so I'm sure you've got a few.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, you could talk about like things you've masturbated to this
Wow,
week.
okay.
So you got anything crazy, Ethan?
Just the general fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
I watch, yeah.
Yeah.
I had to, because I'm doing that comedy bit on
Yeah, yeah.
the chick in the wheelchair.
Okay.
Yeah, like I actually watched some fucking wheelchair
You got to do
porn.
some research,
No way.
man.
Yeah.
You got to
Okay,
do the
you want to give us
research.
some more details? He's
He's not going to act it out for you.
Do you have a wheelchair?
After the podcast, we'll see. We'll see. What
Yeah. Oh man, I've been getting into Asian chicks.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, but you just look at Asian chicks, man. You can find some weird stuff.
Okay.
Like, especially if you start looking at like Japanese chicks, like
Yeah.
nah, like just avoid it. Search Koreans. Okay. That's what I found. They kind of look Japanese.
Yeah.
But like they're not shoving like tentacles up themselves.
Oh, wow.
So,
Man.
what about you, man?
Me? Oh gosh. I'm a religious guy, bro. You know, I ain't about that lifestyle. I actually came onto this platform here to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and I'd like to invite you. Actually, sorry, my Lord and Savior Waheguru. Obviously, I'm a Sikh, and you're all welcome to attend my Sikh temple this Sunday. And
I think we need it. We're fucked up.
Yeah,
it's funny. Like I don't know how many times I've had like a big night out or whatnot, and the next day I'm always at the temple. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you know, it's fun. Like. A lot of times you'll see this giant contrast in people. You'll see somebody who was, you know, upstanding member of the community, maybe a politician, whatever, and then you see him doing something dirty. You know, he's having an affair or whatnot. And I think all of us, we're pretty complex people.
Yeah.
And every one of us will have these sort of cognitive dissonances where we hold these various beliefs that are conflicting with one another, but somehow we just sort of function. Like we sort of got like Sopranos, you know, all the mob stars are super religious family, man.
Yeah.
But they'll go
Well, the
out
tough
there.
guys with like fucking, they're having panic attacks.
Yeah. Exactly. You know, like it's like in the morning I'm out there, you know, going to the Catholic church, you know, at my daughter's christening, and that afternoon I'm slitting some dude's throat, you know, having a good time.
Yeah. Well, also, like, you accept it. I think that's a big part of it. Like, the acceptance. The people who put out, like, Justin Trudeau recently is a good example of that. Like, he's like, crazy left dude, like, super anti-racist. And I'm sure he believes everything he says.
Yeah, he would.
But, like, also, you can't pretend that you're a fucking angel all the time.
Dressed up as Aladdin, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You're white.
Yeah, exactly.
But then back in the day, like, that wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Like, no one gave a shit.
I think we should just draw a line in the sand and be like, look, like, from here on out, like, no more blackface. We're not going to bring it up, though. Like, we're not going to bring it up. That's it. Like, it was a fucked up thing to do. You shouldn't have done it, but you did it, and fine.
It's funny how virtuous these people are. Like, these are the people who are so up in arms and outraged. These are the people who are sort of being the moral police and saying, you know, these are the virtues of kindness and compassion. This is what we should be pushing. Yeah. What happened to the virtue of forgiveness?
Yeah.
What happened to that tenet? You know, what all of a sudden we're all you know, coming down on each other like a ton of bricks. Let me tell you, like, I'm no, you know, crazy out there doing crazy shit, but I've done plenty of things that if Zig wouldn't to zag, we'd be in a very different place.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So when I see somebody else, it could be anything. It could be something small, major. I'm always trying to put myself, even if it's something big, like a murder, robbery, whatever. Someone's made a giant mistake and they've really done something wrong. They've really wronged someone. I'm like, that's terrible. But you know what? I hope we can fix. That's why I think a lot of people, something will happen in the news or the media or whatever, and people are just like, they want to kill the dude. Like people openly, it's not a outrageous thing for people to endorse like vigilantism.
Yeah,
that's something I feel like no one in society ever talks about. So and so will, like, let's say we'll talk about an extreme example, pedophilia. We'll have some dude, a pedophile. He's done a grotesque act with a minor. People are like, yeah, I'd like to slit his throat, do this, and I understand where they're coming from. But what are you talking about?
Yeah, man.
What sort of a society would you like to live in where we just start lynching people?
Yeah.
Because you know what happens? It starts out, okay, we find a pedophile. Okay, you know what? We murder him, we lynch him. Let's just keep it basic. We give him the death penalty.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, I don't like Isaac. I go, you know what? Isaac's a pedophile. Let's all get together, kill him. I bring a mob. There's no trial. There's no due process. We come in here, we pick him up. Next thing you know, Bob's your uncle. He's hanging from a tree. And good luck. Great job, you know?
And not to mention, like, everyone's like had fucked up things. Like, no one just comes out of the blue, and most of the time no one comes out of the blue and they're a bank robber or they're a fucking, like, they're a pedophile or anything. Like, there's fucked up situations that have led to that.
For sure.
And I think you need to, like, I'm not defending pedophilia either. Like, that's like, let's get that out of the way. But, like, a lot of them are being, like, were molested as children as well. So you need to look at it, like, from that, like,
I mean, there's a reason I picked that example, because that's like the one thing where, like,
everyone agrees.
Everything
like,
else, I even like murdering that. I'm like, yeah, cool. If you kill someone, at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? The person you killed is dead, and at some point you're gonna come back, and I want you to come back. That is such a unique crime where I'm like, I can see what I could. If a pedophile did get shot in the head, That's
Yeah.
shocking and
Yeah,
terrible, and I feel
yeah.
bad, but it's
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Awful.
because we can't cure that.
Because we don't
can't
think there's
fix
any.
that.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the issue. Like,
yeah.
a murderer can come
we
out and not
don't know
re-offend.
if we can. Like that's the issue
That's
with
true.
it too.
But
Like,
I think it's right.
that's
I
a
think
fucking slippery slope. That
I
one.
think there's something about sexual urges that are uniquely strong. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, dude,
it's one of those things. It's like once you're there, you're
it's
in.
so
You know,
programmed
once you
into
join
you.
that club,
Yeah.
you're a life member. They ain't no summer memberships for pedophilia, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Just hear about fucking Snow Dogs, dude. What's his name? That actor who just did. Yeah, Cuban Gooding Jr. just got done. They got Cuban
What?
Gooding Jr.
Who's that? I have no idea.
Cuba
I have
Gooding
I don't know
Jr.
nothing about this.
Cuban
It's
Gooding.
like a white people thing. What is this? What are we
Yeah,
talking
He's a black man.
He's a black man. You racist.
about? I can't be racist. I'm Indian.
What did he get done for?
He was like harassing chicks in clubs and stuff.
That's what you do when you're a fucking celebrity.
Yeah, exactly. But like,
now you
he
get
asked
Me
one
Too
chick
for
to
it.
piss in his mouth. He's like,
Oi.
I'd like you to
I've
just
done
like
that.
sit on my face. And... yeah, exactly. I'm like, dude's just a freak. Like, don't send him to jail.
Man, that's
Poor man.
hilarious.
He spent so much of his life like working up that career so that he could get his mouth pissed in, and now he's
Oh
fucking.
gosh.
Yeah.
Now it's out.
gosh.
I certainly don't agree with the fact that he's molesting women in nightclubs. But if
Glad
you
we
want to
got
get
that
your
one
mouth
over.
pissed in, fucking go for it, all right?
Yeah.
I'm like, look, I'm on your side there. Like, as long as you're not pissing in my mouth. Or my kids.
Wow. It's
Yeah.
you know, it's hilarious. A lot of people think there's health benefits to drinking
Oh, the urine therapy thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's all those like extra vitamins that your body didn't take in the first time. So
Really? Is that?
No, I don't
that's
think so.
the argument I've heard before. It's like, oh, there's a lot of good vitamins
There
in
was
it.
like a prime minister of India who's doing it. There was who's the guy, the karate fighter in the UFC?
There's a guy in Australia
Yeah.
called Jimbo who travels around, does comedy shows like in the outback. He
Please
used to have
don't.
this goat called
Oh.
Gary the Goat.
Yeah, I remember
that
Gary the
dude.
Goat.
Yeah,
He's an
he
Australian
does-
icon, the Gary the
The
Goat.
guy
Yeah.
that owns Gary the Goat does urine therapy. Like he's
Oh,
always drinking
Lord.
his piss. Yeah, he
That's
loves it.
that's
He
a-
got done at a pub because he drank a schooner of his own piss. And like the local cops were onto him. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna get you for like sexual harassment, like
What?
exposing yourself in public,
Oh,
yeah.
like, all that
fair.
shit." Like he went up to a wall and like held
Yeah,
the like no
come
one
on.
saw. But
People
yeah.
need to grow a thicker skin. A man can't drink his own piss. What's the world coming to?
Yeah,
What's
I
the
know.
world coming to?
Well,
Where's
that was like that football player, Justin Carney.
Yeah, I
Sure,
recall.
mate.
I remember.
Yeah,
I
he
remember
got
the
done
name,
giving himself the bubbler, and someone took a photo, put it on Facebook, and they fucking kicked him out of NRL.
Poor
I'm
guy.
like, Jesus, like he's a victim of his upbringing, because I know dudes who'd get on the footy bus and they immediately all start sculling water except for the new guy, because the new guy didn't know what was going to happen. Before you got off that bus, you had to drink a fucking glass of your own piss.
What?
Yeah. It was like a full thing.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, go on. So you did this?
I didn't. No.
Oh, you didn't.
Do I look
Everybody
like a
else-
football player to you?
So everybody in the thing did this.
Yeah. It's like
is
like it's
ridiculous.
like they're always doing fucking shit with their own piss, and it's like, and then some fucking pussy takes a photo of a dude at a urinal
Wait a second.
who just happens to be pissing into his own mouth.
You know what? I'm not on board with this whole drinking your whole piss thing. Let me just get that out of the
You
way.
brought it up, motherfucker.
Okay, fair enough. You know what? I'll definitely drink cow piss though, because the cow's a sacred animal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm totally down for that.
I won't. I've smelled it, man. That's fucked.
That's crazy. I that blows my mind. People see that's similar to what we were talking earlier about. Sometimes people just get on board with an idea and that shit gets out of hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just
Like
run with it.
one day you get some good milk for a cow. Next thing you know, cow's your best mate.
Yeah.
You know, you're loving it. You're not eating it anymore. That's
Yeah.
fair enough. I'm on board with that.
I see where you're
And then
going
before
here.
you know it, you're like, let's drink its piss. Like what?
Yeah.
How do we get from A to D? Like A was cool. The cow is my friend. I'm on board.
I thought you
And
were
then
gonna start
suddenly.
fucking the cow. in
Okay,
that
well,
story.
you
I
can
was
get
like,
it
oh,
friendly.
damn.
That's okay. Everyone's mind works a little differently. You know
Yeah.
how it
Well.
goes?
That's escalation right there.
Actually, should I?
Yeah.
Oh, why not? Why not? Far out. Who am I to
You've
judge,
you've already excited it by like
God.
sucking its tits. You might as well finish it off.
It's a, fuck.
My
I'm sorry. I'm
jiu-jitsu
sorry.
coach on the Central Coast, Chris Bowles, he told me this story once. I haven't told it many times, but here we go. He used to work some sort of an electrical job, like electrical wiring and whatnot, and one of the jobs was they'd have to go into a property and notify the owner that they're about to cut the power. So they're in this rural area, and what happens is there's this house, this farm property, bit of acreage by itself. They go knock on the door, no one answers. Knock on the door again, no one answers. So they look and there's a barn, right? And they hear some activity in the barn, right? So they go, look, the guy may just be in the barn. So we'll go in there and let the guy know that there's not going to be much power. There's not going to be a light on in the house. Hopefully not in his heart. But anyway, they walk up to the barn. And the door was open, sort of just open.
Because he lives in the middle of nowhere.
He lives in the middle of nowhere. The guy's not trying to be disturbed and shit, you know what I mean? He's just trying to have a good time.
No one's coming up there.
So the door opens, and this guy is standing there on a bale of hay, just giving it to this poor horse, right? Just giving it. And I mean, like, with vigor, you know?
Yeah.
Like, this is not his first time. This is not his first rodeo, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This cowboy's been around. What are we talking about? And there's a moment where everyone is just making eye contact. The two, my coach, his friend, and the guy there, right? And then everyone's looking at each other. And then the guy he's paused in the act, mind you, right? And he just looks at my coach and he goes, "I need help."
What? Finishing?
The thing was, no one knew. Did he need help? As in mentally, or did he need help getting down from that bale of hay? Like, have you got yourself in a spot? And the craziest part of this story is my coach was telling the story at a pub.
Yeah.
And as we walk out of the pub, we see the guy. The guy is there.
Really?
Yeah, and he looks at my coach and sort of hurries away. And then we're walking by the guy's car. And I kid you not, this is a true story. The guy had a station wagon. In the back of the station wagon was a bale of hay. Ladies and gentlemen, he has not stopped. I'm telling you. Once you join that club, that sexual club, there are no 6-month memberships. There's no yearly memberships. You're in for life. You know what I mean? You're committed. You're committed.
It's not the sort of thing you can fucking go to an AA meeting for, is
no
it?
No way.
There's Sex Addicts Anonymous, but there's not Horse Fuckers Anonymous.
Yeah. Whoo.
Imagine the circle of people in that one, though.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow. It's
Do you think it'd be like one circle for the guys who fuck the horses and another circle for the people who get fucked by the horse?
Well, there was a guy who died from that, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Hands.
Mr. Hands, yeah.
Bam.
You know, I haven't seen that video, and I do
Oh,
not
treat
want to.
yourself.
Yeah, but I want
Top of the
to.
week, mate.
It's,
Yeah.
what is that about us? Where
Find
we
yourself
know-
a nice laddie, sit her down, a little bit of popcorn.
Oh Lord, I can't figure that out. For some reason, there's these things that we know are gonna upset us.
Yeah.
They're gonna horrify us or make us feel a bad way, but we just cannot stop watching.
Yeah,
We
like
cannot.
Joker cringe.
Yeah, or massacre
Memes.
videos. Or,
Yeah. I can't watch shit with animals. Like, I can't
Yeah.
fucking do it. It does.
Yeah, that's I don't like. There's a video game I played, and it's called The Walking Dead. It's a video game based off the TV show.
Okay.
And you've got a choice to feed this dog or like eat the food in front of it. I was like, I'm gonna feed this dog.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
That's
like
nice.
you give the dog some food, and then it's like, fuck you, I want the whole jar. And like you get into this thing and you kick the dog off, and then the dog goes flying over the log and gets impaled. And you've got to shoot the fucking
What?
dog.
Are you
And I nearly
serious?
just turned Tanya and I were playing it together. I was like, Jesus, fuck.
Oh my god.
That escalated so quickly. Why?
That writing is incredible.
Oh,
I would love
dude.
to meet that guy who came
Yeah.
up with that whole saga.
Yeah, this
Wow.
is fucking horrible.
You know, this is crazy because like I grew up from age 9 to 17. I didn't eat any meat. I was
Yeah.
very strict religion, and recently I've started eating meat. And it's funny because for some reason now, I like animals. I have a pet dog, whatever. But to me, there's no distinction in animal meat. So
Yeah.
for me, chicken is the same as dog, is the same as whatever, is the same as like I have a uniform thing.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people like. This is the whole. We're taking a bit of a detour here, but the whole veganism thing, right? This whole idea that animal rights and whatnot. This is me speaking for myself here. I think we need to acknowledge that animals and human beings are not on the same level, right?
No.
It's not like no one human. Let me tell you, I'm gonna go a bit out there right now. I would rather shoot 100 dogs than shoot one dude.
It really depends on the dude. I'm gonna be honest.
I'll be honest with you. Yeah, it depends on the dude.
Yeah.
It depends on the dogs too.
Yeah.
Dogs are
You're not going to
arseholes.
be able to shoot 100 Labradors. What are you talking about?
I know.
dead
You're right.
inside.
I got
Flick
fucking- I got a
switch.
Labrador,
I have to do it
yeah.
like the Jewish style. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
a chamber
you
or
need a
some
gas
shit.
chamber for
That's
those
right.
dogs.
That would have worked.
I do love dogs, by the way. Don't
You
think
went-
I'm
yeah.
a dog.
You went
nut,
too
you know?
insane with your exaggeration. If you could go, I'd rather shoot a dog than a person.
Yeah.
Like, I'd agree with that.
You think 100 dogs equals one person?
what?
Depends
No.
on the person. Like, if they've
Okay,
got
let's
Ivan
say-
Milat in
let's
front of
say,
you.
Let's say a model person.
Yeah. Oh.
How many dogs?
Yeah.
I would kill an infinite amount of dogs before I killed a single.
You've got
human
like a
being.
little child in
I'm-
front of me, and they're like, every dog in the world versus this one little child.
Yeah.
Fuck that kid.
There's a set up comments, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget.
Yeah.
We might be talking, but we got those jokes. We got to snip
Yeah.
Man.
Dude, I think we're going to have to call it there, though.
Alrighty,
Um,
that was a fun time, man.
Yeah,
Time
man.
flew
It
by.
was great to meet you.
Hell yeah.
Like,
Likewise, guys. We have to do this again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
sure.
You're on the Central Coast, so
No, he's on
I'm
Melbourne.
in
Oh,
Melbourne.
You're in
but
Melbourne
I'm
now?
going back and forth. So,
Yeah.
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 We definitely want to come down to Melbourne and
Yeah.
do some rooms
yeah,
there.
that's
Yeah,
a plan
guys,
for
check it
us.
Hell
like,
yeah.
spend a week in Melbourne.
Beautiful. Hit me up
just-
while you're down there.
Yeah, for sure, man. You know Ashley, fuck, what's
Chapman.
his name? Chapman. You know
I've
Ashley.
heard the name, I believe.
Yeah, he's doing. I've been following him on Facebook. He was our first ever guest on here.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's doing like a heap of shows down there as well. So if you run
Awesome.
into him,
We'll do.
say g'day to him for us.
Yeah.
and,
Beautiful.
He's a cool guy.
yeah, tell him to fucking follow the podcast that he was a guest on.
Yeah.
I don't think he's following it, the motherfucker.
We'll get him. But yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah.
No worries,
Good to
guys.
have you.
Thanks for having me. Really
Yeah.
appreciate it. Yeah. Great
Cool.
stuff. Great stuff.
All right, let's
Sweet.
kill it.
Yep. Mwah.